Feels like the butterfly can't escape the skyline. Real relationships must die.
As many of you might have known from watching my channel over the period of time, I did a video on somebody named KingCobraJFS, someone who proclaims to be Goth. He's somebody who listens to classic rock, or what I would call it, kind of the godfather of heavy metal and some of the things that I would call black metal or dark metal, something like that, like Cradle of Filth. Now, the subject matter of whether or not KingCobraJFS is goth or not is a debate of semantics, which I don't really want to get into. But basically, the debate could be boiled down like this: is that if you are subscribed to the school of thought that Ozzy Osbourne is some kind of a godfather of gothic rock because he invented rock or some weird shit like that, or you think that dark metal is gothic rock, then I don't know what to say. Then fine, that's gothic rock subjectively to you. But it is ultimately a debate of semantics over a term that is ultimately an umbrella term. But if you subscribe to the school of thought that gothic rock spawned out of the Batcave in England in the 80s, and a lot of the lyrics and a lot of the music is reminiscent of 17th century Gothic sound and literature, particularly the lyrics tend to be very nihilistic and kind of centralized theme of Gothic Victorian 17th century poetry. Then you and I agree on what goth is. And that even pertains to the Gothic culture that was springing up in the United States around the same time that the Batcave in London, England, was forming its Gothic scene with such bands as Christian Death, the Superheroines, Guillotine Damone, and 45 Grave. And we are of the same school of thought on the definition of what Gothic rock is. I'm not going to get bogged down into the semantics of whether or not death metal, dark metal, black metal, whether or not that's considered goth or not is highly subjective. However, someone like me, in the way that I define it, I don't see it as such, but I don't see it as something that's relevant or nearly as interesting as what was to come from covering a topic of KingCobraJFS. He sent out a bunch of trolls, which ultimately ended up being himself, under alt accounts, and calling me dummy and all kinds of stuff, and look at me figuring things out, blah 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 blah. Until recently, I did this live stream, which a bunch of trolls, which I assumed to be nothing more than KingCobraJFS fanboys, trolling.
That's a troll.
What's going on?
I love that man. No. You said we love your mask. No, we're not Nazis.
What's going on?
Dude, I was just fending them off by myself, eh? I was fending them off, waiting for you.
Go for it. Yeah, I had some technical things. But I just want to say gang gang.
Yang gang, yang gang.
Is that a gay thing?
The Goth community can come together on that. Gang gang is likely.
Yo,
Yeah, you need to get rid of that hat, man.
You talking about me or him?
You. Drunk isn't goth.
Okay, yo, no, wait a minute. Doesn't matter. Like your political people. But I will take it off this one time.
Drunk isn't goth.
Yeah, we know that.
Yang is.
What is yang?
Obviously you're not goth. Obviously you're not goth.
Explain to me since you think I'm not goth. Explain to me. You're not Peter Murphy. You're not Ron Williams. You're not Peter Murphy. Who the hell are you? Robert Smith. Are you Robert Smith?
Fear dies rot in your fucking brain zone, man. I already explained.
Robert Smith isn't even Goth.
Listen, man, I'm getting messages saying that your Can Crush was shit.
Later on after that, what was to follow was something very interesting, because these, what I presume to be trolls, because honestly, I don't know anything about the people that came into the live stream. We just said, fuck it, we'll invite them in. I don't know who they are. I don't know if they're trolls. I don't know if they're Antifa. I don't even know if they are Nazis. They very well could be any of those things. Or as Hell Mama Ray's, the guy with the fucking mask on his face, said he is Mamoon Clan or something like that. I don't know. Very well could be. Don't know. Don't really care. But what was very, very interesting is what happened next. This guy ended up showing up on my channel, and he seemed to be offering answers to where there was no transparency. He said they actually are Antifa. KingCobraJFS is heavily involved in Antifa, but doesn't let anyone in on it on his channel. The reality is that I saw him at Charlottesville smashing someone's head with what looked like one of those crappy staffs he makes. I didn't know he made staffs. I thought he made wands. If you know anything about these people, you need to tell me right now. I'm trying to gather evidence so I can submit it to the police. KingCobraJFS is a communist monster, and the people who raided your stream are as bad as he is. So I responded, I know he chased Gothic D off the platform. I know he's extremely immature. And he sent me a VidMe video of him masturbating, which was viewer friendly. It had like a weird thing over where he was masturbating so you couldn't actually see his penis or anything like that. And it made it seem like it took him a lot longer than it probably actually did via looping. It was obvious to tell that. I'm not judging. I don't care. I'm just saying this was what was there. He trolled my channel for defending Gothic D and saying he uses SJW tactics of spamming the shit out of people he doesn't like, most of which were of himself using alt accounts. He doesn't talk like a member of Antifa because he's kind of a womanizer in my opinion. And he really kind of makes fun of gay people more often than he'd like to admit, which is not something that Antifa does. And I basically just asked, what do you want to know? I have no idea who this guy is by this time, or at this moment, and I can't promise that I will keep all of these little shots in order, but I will do the best that I can. So, this person has brought some information, any information, that I did not have before. Now, I would like to remind you also, at this point, I still had no idea who any of these people were. I don't know who is a troll. I don't know who to take seriously, who not to take seriously. All I know is that this particular person was offering information, and a lot of the information that he provided, I still had no idea what it was, even if I could take it seriously. But he sends me a message saying my group, Atomwaffen, suspects that KingCobraJFS is actually one of the officers of the Casper, Wyoming Antifa. Public masturbation is something they're pretty well known for in general. Like most Antifa, he's incredibly egotistical and unhinged. I swear to you, this guy is a violent nut job. I remember one video he posted, he graphically described how he plans on sneaking up on Nazis with that crappy old, I don't know what a Stooger is, he owns and blowing them away. He thinks a long Fowler shotgun makes him a ninja or something because you don't have to pump it. Liberals don't know anything about guns. Furthermore, pretty much all members of Antifa are womanizing virgins. He fits the bill pretty well, and cockeyed freak that split open my bro Matt, I don't know who that is, Matt, their head at Charlottesville looks exactly like him. My other bro, another person I don't know, had to stitch his head back together on the spot and swears he heard that retard screaming about slaying trolls. Not long after, Cobra releases his song, Troll Slayer. There's no way that's coincidence. What connection do you think those three have to Cobra besides the wands? Do you think they might also be Casper Antifa? Did you know any of them prior to this stream? Now, at this point in time, I don't know who this person is. I don't know what Atomwaffen is. I don't know what they were doing at Charlottesville, and I know that not everyone at Charlottesville was a Nazi, or even if they were a Nazi, I wouldn't necessarily say that they were any kind of endangering, like a person that was endangering anyone else. They just had a really bigoted, fucked up eye view that I don't agree with. Well, that's all I know of this, of any of this at this point. I find it kind of fucked up at this point that it checks out. Casper, Wyoming is indeed where King Cobra comes from. And that's kind of fucked up because this is being doxed. This is doxed information now. I have no control over it. He put it out into the world. Now people know. I don't know what to tell you. But to be fair, it's also on KingCobraJFS's Fandom page, which I'll get to later. So, being that I had no idea who this was, of course, I answered. And let this be a lesson to the wise, to those who came into my live stream. Don't bite the hand that feeds. Basically, if you're going to come into a random person's live stream and start shit-talking and trolling people, don't expect them to defend you. Honestly. You came in and you called me AIDS needles. You didn't present yourselves as somebody who is transparent, somebody capable of having a intellectual dialogue or dialogue of any kind that would go anywhere other than just what I would call fuckery. And you weren't nice, that you guys weren't nice about anything, you weren't courteous about anything, you weren't articulate about anything, you were just full of shit. So why on earth would I have any reason not to divulge information, especially because I have no idea who this guy is. He's just some random internet user with a British flag in the background that says, buy free Canadian pharmaceuticals. So, okay, fine. I gave them information that I did know, which is public information. He makes wands. We all know that. They all have wands. They all have channels. You can go to the channels by clicking on the name tag. Everyone knows that. And he says that confirms what he believes. He's going to dig deeper. Let me know if you find anything. In exchange, I'll let you know what I find. And the only reason I'm including this is because it's important for the narrative. Alright, so I tell him, well, I can also tell you this guy I'm doing a live stream with, the Gothic Republican, did have a run-in with a journalist who tried to sick Antifa after him. He's Jewish Republican and has spoken out against Antifa as well as the alt-right. And so do I. I speak out against Antifa as well as the alt-right. I did a whole video on the journalist trying to sick Antifa on him. It should be the upload before this one. I have a question though. How do I know you're telling the truth? Basically, how can I trust you? Eventually, I stumbled upon what Atomwaffen is. Atomwaffen, turns out, is actually a fucking neo-Nazi racist organization. Oddly, they all like to wear skull masks, kind of like the one that Hell Mama Ray's was wearing. Interesting. This just gets weirder and weirder. Atomwaffen, meaning automatic weapons in German, is a neo-Nazi terrorist organization based in the United States and active in other countries such as the United Kingdom, Canada, and Germany. Founded in 2013, the group's main base of operations is in Florida, but it has members in other states such as Texas and Montana. Now, the very interesting thing about the Texas thing, is that the person who's told me that he is a member of Atomwaffen, I go to his channel, has only like I think 3 or 4 videos, and they're all of Mike Enoch, a prominent member of the alt-right, white nationalist group of people, speaking at a rally in Texas. And I just want to go through their ideology here. Alt-right, neo-Nazism, neo-fascism, white supremacism, white nationalism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, Islamophobia, racism, and terrorism. They participate in guerrilla warfare and could very, very easily be considered to be a militia group in the United States. Please take note of the symbol, and please take note that they do wear masks with skull faces. Interesting shit. After finding out what Atomwaffen really is, I am Jack Stinking Rage. So I go over to Hell Mama Ray's channel and just point blank asked him, what have you and your friends done ever since you came on my live stream? You now have a neo-Nazi asking questions about you and your friends. And Clubber Gubbo has to say, should have thought about that before you agreed to be featured on my show. It's not your fucking show, it's my channel, my fucking video, my fucking live stream, not yours. And according to that guy, he's saying that all these people, including KingCobraJFS, is a member of Antifa. As far as I know, they're all just still trolls again. I don't know. I don't know anymore. So I said, you know, maybe you should look up the group that's hunting you guys. They're called Atomwaffen. They have a Wikipedia you might find of interest. And then this one showed up. Then he responds, Jinx, first you call me a racist. Well, actually, you kind of called yourself a racist. You asked if we thought you were a Nazi, and we said no. Then you make fun of my Asian animation. Oh yeah, that's right, you had swastikas in it. My bad. Saying I have hidden symbols in it, and then you call me a troll. Well, as far as I know, you are a troll. We don't know who you are, and you haven't particularly been very honest or transparent about that or forthcoming. You haven't sat down and actually had a conversation to get to know each other. You appeared on my live stream and made yourself comfortable like we've known each other for years. I don't know you. And neither does the Gothic Republican. And then he says, then you call me troll, now I'm being hunted by Atomwaffen. So he's making fun of it. Get your story straight. Like, totally not even afraid. And then Clever Gubba says, Jinx, whatever, you're fake goth. Like I give a shit what you think, and a snitch. You snitched on yourself. Jinx, yeah man, why did you throw us under the bus? Is that how you're gonna get back for you being balded? Not cool, dude. I work with the Mamoon Network, whatever the fuck that is. They are not gonna be happy about this, my dude. I don't know who the Mamoon Network, I don't know if that's a real thing. I don't know if this is even still trolling. And then Clever Gubbo responds with actually something that seems kind of actually decent response for saying, hey, Atomwaffen is looking for you, by saying, you sold us out to Atomwaffen? Have you any idea what kind of bigots they are? My answer to that at the time was no. When I was talking to him, I had no idea Atomwaffen was a neo-Nazi organization that participates in guerrilla warfare. Not only that, lone wolf tactics. I learned more about this group even after this whole clusterfuck. I have blocked all of these people and deleted all of these comments and archived them for my own recollection. But yeah, so apparently Atomwaffen engages in lone wolf strategies and guerrilla warfare tactics, and even sends people out to, kind of prove themselves. That's interesting. So then we get on to more of it. This is just a blow-up shot of the same thing. So then, after all that nonsense, a longtime subscriber of mine, a good subscriber, I really enjoy him, fills me in on some information. It says this: have you checked out Hell Mama Ray's channel? Is King Cobra a goth troll? 'Cause if he is, I don't reckon this is him. It's more of an Antifa channel with a guy in a mask making threats to InfoWars and such like. Mind you, it's... And I proceeded to say, there is 1.5 hour... Oh, no, never mind. That's later. We'll get to that. So I'm following the leads, and he says to me, very curious indeed, I know the Siege publication. It was an American neo-Nazi newsletter from the mid-'80s written by an ideologue named James Mason, who is associated with the American Nazi Party, the National Socialist Liberation Front, and the National Alliance Movement, which is a practical guide to organizational leaderless division structures and guerrilla action, which Atomwaffen follow. The writing also inspired various other neo-Nazi terrorist sets with stances that are equally or almost as extreme, and for the most part with thus far higher body counts than Waffen set, such as International Direct Action Combat 18 set, the UK's National Action Squadrons, the Order and the Aryan Republican Army from the US, the National Socialist Underground from Germany, and so on and so forth. And then this is the last part of it. They have at least been responsible for at least one homophobic murder last year of a guy named Blaze Bernstein, who also happened to be Jewish. They are not warning you out of altruism because they hate you, but you're probably just trying to morm information out of you on these trolls who appear to be a target for whatever reason, unbeknownst to us. Check out the documentary when you have time. And I have checked out the documentary, and let me tell you about the group that does this documentary. So this is the group that does the documentary. They are actually just mirroring a video that came from PBS. The channel is called Punks for Progress. This is an actual Antifa-ish group. Punks for Progress is a project started by a cupola old punk rockers, a nephew, uncle, renowned punker Mike, respectively, blah blah blah, added, and they're talking, they're from the Bronx, 5 punk rock anti-capitalists covering the world's events from a socialist perspective. We would like this Marxist media collective to grow, so we are way open to submissions and hearing from anyone interested in covering the goings-on in their own regions. And that means anywhere in the world. So, are you anti-fascist? Are you, at the very least, socialism curious? Don't necessarily have to be a punk rocker, but it helps. Are you willing to do your own homework? Hit us up, blah, blah, blah. Now, the interesting thing about this is they covered like a lot of stuff about Atomwaffen and the neo-Nazi groups. They actually are militarized. They try to recruit people from the military, which I have to say, to anyone who is in the gun advocacy area or bracket of kind of neo-skepticism, the sort of political side of YouTube, I gotta tell you, the alt-right, white nationalists, white supremacist type people, the neo-Nazis, they're kind of gonna make a very big uphill battle for you guys. And I think it would be in your best interest to draw a very, very thick line in the sand separating you and them, as well as be very, very quick to demonize any white nationalist, neo-Nazi, or anything like that. Because if you don't, basically the left is going to look at you like you're with those guys. Throughout all the looking around, that's what it seems to be. That basically it's going to get to a point where it's going to be an argument of I'm not willing to give up my rights, liberties, and freedoms, and so what if people are dying because of Nazism? I mean, it's going to be a pretty tight and hard argument to make. So I think it's very, very important if you are with the NRA or you are in support of gun advocacy, you need to separate yourselves from the alt-right and demonize them. You need to be just as much ready to call them what they are and how they are and dismiss them and separate yourself ideologically from these people. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very difficult in the future for you to make any further arguments of pro-gun rights. It'll be difficult. I'm just saying that. So, on with it then. So this is very interesting. So they do these things where they send you on a quest and you have to prove yourself, and they do engage in lone wolf activity. I still at this point do not know if the 3 trolls that entered in to my live stream are nothing but trolls, KingCobraJFS trolls, Antifa, or possibly even neo-Nazis. I don't know. I still don't know to this very point and moment that I am making this. But I will show you something I find interesting.
Some of you may be wondering why this sacred journey does not upload videos for the...
I'm not saying that he's a Nazi, but I think it's very interesting that he has to be sent on a special journey before he starts doing real upload videos, and he has to prove himself to KingCobraJFS. Seems to be that they speak in code a lot, and he has this fucking skull mask on, just like Hell Mama Raised, just like the Atomwaffen people. Blonde-haired, blue eyes, kinda chunky boy. But that's okay. You know, I still don't know what to call this. I don't know if I honestly don't know if this is, you know, a neo-Nazi or an Antifa member or just a KingCobraJFS fanboy that happens to be trolling me or just a troll. I don't know. I'm just showing you the information that has been presented to me, and it hasn't been very transparent at all, has it? But it gets even more interesting. So, do you remember the Hell Mama Raised guy? Well, this is from his channel, and he seems to be in par with socialism, and I guess he might be comfortable being called a communist. So that's indicative of Antifa, isn't it? but still, we have the skull mask. Oh, and he was threatening him.
I just want to give a big shout out to everybody that watched my last video and got all the good feedback from the Yang Gang, all my Yanksters out there holding it down. Yang Gang 2020, we're doing it big. And for all the haters out there, I don't give a shit. You know, I had a couple haters, and this is one thing I wanted to address. Yang doesn't give a shit about the haters. You know, I had one guy call me a commie for supporting Andrew Yang, the man that's gonna save us all. Oh, I'm a commie for wanting $1,000.
You might be. I don't know. You might be a commie. You might be a neo-Nazi. Or you might be a troll. Or you might just be a KingCobraJFS fanboy. None of this has been well established yet. The only person who has provided any kind of information was a neo-Nazi themselves, hunting you and King Cobra down. And this is just absolutely fucking hilarious. Do you remember from the live stream the guy that was wearing the MAGA hat with the disgusting beard? And yeah, so this is paganism gone all fucking wrong. I know many legitimate pagans that would look at this and say, you need to stop watching The Craft.
So mote it be. So mote it be.
Fantastic. Then the other channel is the gray screen guy who was all like, I'm a prominent member in the community and I don't want to have my face shown. And so we just called him gray screen. Well, he has a channel, and I got a face shot of him, and again, wearing a skull mask. And apparently he thinks it's really funny to have McDonald's workers who work on a minimum wage. This is how you can tell they're definitely not Antifa. Because you would never do this to a proletariat. Make them walk across ice just for the sake of watching them walk across the ice and snow. And you can definitely tell from his accent, and he did even confirm in the live stream that he is from Canada.
Canadian cell 1488. Death Squad Division. Here checking in. Checking in with all my gamers brethren. And I'm out of.
Checking in with all your, and then it was bleeped out with the phrase gamers, and your Death Squad Division and cell number. I don't know what all this is about, but a lot of it seems like neo-Nazi bullshit. And the only one of them, and the strange thing is when you look at Hell Mama Raised, you can make the argument that he sounds very Antifa-ish because he sounds socialist. Well, the fascist party can be socialism. The fascist party has elements of socialism within it. So I don't know. I still don't know. But what I can tell you is this, is that if you've watched this video and that you felt that you were inadequately represented, then you only have yourself to blame. Because you didn't offer transparency, you didn't bring any reasonable facts or data to the table, you acted like a complete jackass in the live stream. And actually, you know what the sad truth of it is the actual person that was a neo-Nazi, the Buy Canadian Pharmaceuticals, is probably more transparent than any of the rest of them. And completely blunt and blatantly honest about being a neo-Nazi and being a part of Atomwaffen. And after analyzing all the data, I have come to the realization that the alt-right, white supremacists, neo-Nazis are far more dangerous than Antifa. Antifa might roll flaming trash cans and throw mortar bombs or hit people in the face with bike lock chains, but man, these neo-Nazis, this group of Atomwaffen, they're pretty fucking serious. But I have to say to all of them, like, I mean, if you are like, if the other group of people is Antifa, you might you can learn something from your nemesis here, your counter piece, if you will. They are more methodical and more professional and more intelligent than you guys. And that's really sad, because I'm a leftist. I am a liberal. And there's just something about that really bothers me. I think that if you're going to take on a group, you should at least be on the same page as intelligence as they are. And you're not. I think the punk page, the punk site that I talked about, the punks for, I forget what it's called now, but I think that they've got their head around it, and they're actually producing legitimate arguments, and you could probably have a legitimate conversation with them. So I'm still not sure what to think about the 3 people that entered into my live stream, and they didn't introduce themselves. They didn't talk about who they were. Everything was so cryptic and secret. Shh, don't tell anybody. And I also think that I also want to say this. I think it's cowardice that you hide behind a mask. You know, like, looking at the Atomwaffen people, yeah, they wear the skull masks, but not all the time. They're pretty open about who they are, unless they go away from the crowd. Then they tend to hide their identity because the Atomwaffen group will come after them. The other correlation that I find very interesting about this is the lead of Atomwaffen, who happens to be somebody by the name of Rape, is somebody who's into death metal. And, well, that's really interesting, because so is KingCobraJFS. And they're relatively close together as far as the United States is concerned. They are in different states, but the states, I think, are relatively close together. So I find all of that very interesting, and I don't know what to make of any of it. Like I said, if you feel that you have been improperly represented in this video, you really only have yourself to blame, because you didn't give me the information needed to give adequate representation of who you 3 were, particularly the live stream. The Canadian Pharmaceuticals was pretty upfront about who and what he was. But I have to say, I am in disagreement with both sides of the ideological extreme. I am not a socialist, I am not a communist, and I am not a fascist. In fact, my ideological principles are the exact opposite of fascism. I am in support of what I would call an anti-Darwinian society, which is where we have made it so well in what it is that we do in survival of the fittest, that even our weakest links can survive a full-fledged and fulfilled life, including someone like KingCobraJFS, who has autism. I will leave links to according things in the description below, and if you feel that you were improperly represented, I do apologize, but literally, I was not given jack shit to work with. And if Atomwaffen hunts you down and finds you, then you really only have yourselves to blame for that as well. And you're the reason why the Nazis were showing up on my YouTube channel in the live stream in the first place. To be honest, I've had Nazis troll me before, but I can handle some alt-right person coming into my comment section, not in my live stream, but in my comment section, and calling me a faggot. That seems like normal behavior for a neo-Nazi, but I kept asking myself throughout the entirety of this, how deep is too deep? And my answer to that was, too deep is when you're too deep to get away. So interacting with a member of Atomwaffen I consider to be a little too close for comfort, a little too close to home. And so I really don't want to associate with neo-Nazis unless we are to discuss the different ideologies with the understanding that we have different ideologies. Same goes with Antifa, although I don't feel as threatened by Antifa as I'm sure many people feel the same. And I just have to say that, I don't agree with either ideology. And if they are nothing but trolls, then you did a really good job at trolling because you still leave in mystery. Nobody knows what the fuck you are. We know where your channels are. We don't know who you are, any of that stuff. But I have to say, magic is stupid. It's not real. It doesn't exist. And you don't know what real paganism is because real pagans don't wander around saying, "So mote it be," to a fucking crow. That's not what real pagans do. And real pagans will laugh at you. And also, I think most real pagans actually don't even listen to metal. I think most real pagans actually listen to, get this, Gothic rock. I know a lot of pagans in the Gothic community. And I'm not going to debate on you what Goth is and isn't. You can keep your stupid fucking opinion. I don't really fucking care. I really do think it's cowardice, though, that you hide behind a mask. And I think that if you're ashamed of what you're doing, you shouldn't be doing it. That's really how I feel. I do not hide behind a mask. And the name, I know it's obvious it's not my real name. Many people think it is my real name, whatever. Jinx means a demon in the Arabic language. And it's actually, I didn't even know that. I just thought it meant to be cursed. But it's a pen name. It's what I use when I publish any of my artistic creative works. I publish it under the name Jinx. So that is where that name comes from, and that is how I exist, is the name Jinx. So I'll leave you with your thoughts. Just know this, I really would not like to associate with any members of Atomwaffen or any neo-Nazis. You do not share the same ideology. I am a critic of the alt-right, and I am also a critic of the alt-left, because I think that these ideologies are extreme, they're idealism, and they never work. I am in favor of a liberal democracy. I want more freedoms for people, not less freedoms. And ultimately, I think when you look at the arguments of neo-Nazis, it falls flat on its face when you really get deep into genetics. Ultimately, the human population, the human species, has the lowest genetic diversity in the entire animal kingdom, and interracial breeding actually resolves that problem and creates a greater genetic variance. This is good. This is a good thing. It's healthy for the human species, and also I advocate for an anti-Darwinian society, whereas Nazism, usually the neo-Nazi people, advocate for something entirely different, where they want to eradicate genetic inefficiency, which is completely opposite of an anti-Darwinian society. And also, I think you have to realize that under an ethno-state, you will isolate a specific genome or specific genetic traits, and you will eventually become nothing but a bunch of inbreds. So nothing about that ideology is healthy whatsoever, and I cannot condone killing anyone. No matter if you're on the right, no matter if you're on the left, no matter if you're Antifa, if you're alt-left, alt-right, if you're centrist, libertarian, if you're Christian, if you're atheist, if you're Islamic. I do not condone killing people. I am humanitarian, egalitarian. I am a liberal that lived through the 90s, and I carry that attitude forward. And I don't know what you call that attitude today. Clearly the left does not any longer consider that to be liberal, but that's what I fucking am. And I hate political correctness. It's as simple as that. So again, if you feel like you were misrepresented by this, you really only have yourselves to blame, because not much information was really given, and the people who entered the live stream, I'm going to reiterate this again, you behaved like total jackasses. So, some of you appear to be kind of fascistic, like neo-Nazis, and some of you appear to be kind of Antifa-ish. Honestly, after all the digging I do, it almost seems like you all are neo-Nazis, and it seems like Mr. Buy Free Canadian Pharmaceuticals is a recruiting officer for the alt-right. In which case, you will find no business with me, and I don't know why you would try to recruit someone like me, or the Gothic Republican either. It doesn't make any sense. I have already filed a report with the police because one of, the Hellmama Rays threatened to attack me, so a police report has been filed, and they know that I have been threatened with this. So in case it does happen, there's already a file on that. But let me know what you think in the comments section below of this disastrous mess. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell button on any channel you're subscribed to. And with that, out. P.S. This may not be the last video I make on this, as I am still learning more things. And there's even other things that were said to me that I did not display